Listen up. Be you. You got this. I said it before and I'll say it again. Keto, rock stars, stay strong. Be you. Bacon, beef, butter. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto on, stay strong. Be you. Keto rock stars.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Rockin' Coach Amy here and Coach Deborah, DJ, right? You like to go by DJ Johnson.
do.
Thank you so much for coming on, DJ. I really appreciate you being here. And everybody in the chat, you guys are in for a treat with Deborah's story. It's just an incredible story. Let's say hi to a few people before we get into your story. Carrie, he's been with my channel since the very beginning. Thank
Hi,
you for
Carrie.
tuning in. And he's just had surgery 27 days ago. He had hernia surgery wearing compression shorts. And you're doing well. That's good to hear. Brian Dish is in the house. Welcome. My good friend Brian Airy is in the house. Welcome, Brian. Thanks for tuning in. This is John, Overhauling Health. I think I interviewed him a week ago. Thanks, John. Thanks for tuning in. Rick, Twin Brook Acres, is in the house. Welcome, Rick. And so is Lynn, 22Q Cat. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see who else is here. Peter, Papa Carnivore, or Pretzel Pete, as we call him, is in the house. Schmoovie, my neighbor John, is here. Welcome. Aaron, Booby Goats, is in the house. Welcome. Thinking for Myself is here. Welcome. Terry's in the house. Welcome, Terry. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi, Terry.
Before we, do you know Terry? Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, if you are watching and you aren't able to chat, what you will be required to do is hit that subscribe button and wait 5 minutes. This is not a punishment. It's just to keep the trolls out. So just hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for tuning in, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and wait 5 minutes and you'll be able to chat. And Carrie always gives a joke, so we'll read this. 9 out of 10 carnivores will choose a space rock over human flesh, since it's more meatier. That's hilarious. Thank you. Holly Springer's in the house. Welcome, Holly. Let's see who else we got here. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Kendra, Consume the Goodness, is in the house. Hi, Kendra. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. PhD. Coach Russ is here. Thanks for
Coach
tuning
Russ.
in, Russ.
Hey, Russ.
Coach Ross. Golden Girls in the house. Welcome. Paul is here. He said punishment, LOL. We're not punishing people on this channel, I promise. It's to keep everybody safe. Okay. I've gotten through everybody in the chat. So, Deborah, DJ, tell us background about yourself. Tell us about your health journey. And you can tell
Sure.
us in any way you want to.
Sure.
So go ahead. And if anybody has a question in the channel or in the chat, type QQQ in front of it. One more person, Catherine's in the house. Welcome, Catherine. Thanks for
Hi,
tuning
Catherine.
in. Glad you're here. Okay, over to you, DJ. Tell us about your journey.
Sure. What I thought I would do is position this from way back when I first started playing around with alternative medicine. Because many years ago, you have your aches and pains, you have things going on. And I was telling Amy this before we went live, that 40 years ago was the first time I actually saw what we now consider someone in the alternative medicine space. Because for many years, I had severe back pain and sciatica, okay? And so someone said, why don't you try a chiropractor? I didn't even know what they were. I didn't know what they did. I was a little bit afraid, but I really liked the guy, and he was definitely helping. And fast forward a little bit, And I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And he told me, again, this was 40 years ago, he said, don't do the Synthroid, go with the Armor, go with the, the more natural stuff. And I was on Armor. I did very well on Armor until the manufacturer ran out of the product. I couldn't get it. I actually called the company, and they were in back order, and they didn't know how long. So I had to pivot over to Synthroid, and I've been on Synthroid T3 and T4 ever since. But I seem to be doing pretty well, so never switch back. So fast forward to maybe late high school and college, started gaining weight. Now, I was never, so I'm only 5'3". I'm not very big boned. My highest weight was about 196 pounds, and that was in my late 20s. But before I got to that, I started gaining weight, and I was eating, well, I always felt less than the other girls. Okay. I was fairly active. I was on the gymnastics team in high school and college, but all the other girls were like really skinny. And, so my whole journey just was like, I just got to lose weight, got to lose weight, got to lose weight. And I was eating a lot of vegetables and salads. And over the years, I'm like, every time I eat a meal, I felt like crap, like bloated and pain and lots of trips to the bathroom. And I didn't know what it was. Doctors, they're like, just don't eat so much. It was nonsense, and nothing ever helped. And, I think that's my sister, Susan Thomas. I think that's my sister who recently, within the past couple months, went carnivore. New carnivore.
You want to
Yes.
hear a weird thing?
Yeah.
One of my best friends that I grew up with that lives like five houses down, her name's Susan Thomas. I'm like, there's no way my friend is in here.
No, that is my
No,
Susan Thomas, because I can see by
I was
the
gonna
dog.
say that's not her
Right.
dog. Yeah, she's got a different
that's my
dog.
Susan Thomas. Hi, sister.
Hi, Susan. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So anyway, so I had the thyroid stuff. I had, we'll really fast forward to 2012. I'm probably missing stuff. I had sports injuries. I spent a couple of decades being very active in the equestrian community, and riding and showing and jumping and training horses. So had falls and injuries to shoulders and everything. And I discovered ways to alleviate pain that didn't require like NSAIDs, for example. Okay. Just always kind of seeking out that alternative view. And then in 2012, I started having, this is really important for the ladies watching. Okay. So listen up, ladies. I started having a bizarre symptom. It was a tightening in my throat. I could swallow fine. It just felt like my throat was tightening. It didn't affect eating. It didn't affect swallowing. It just felt like it was tightening. It was the only symptom. And it wasn't triggered by exercise. It could happen, when I'm getting up in the morning. It could happen while I was exercising. It could happen in the shower. And it lasted long enough. I wasn't doing anything to treat it because I had no idea what it was, but it lasted a while. So I went to my primary care, who was traditional medicine. And, he did an EKG, and I wasn't terribly overweight. And he knew that was when I was very active in the horse community. So I was riding probably 5 or 6 days a week. And he's like, your heart's fine. I think you have acid reflux. And I said, well, I don't know what acid reflux is, but I don't think I have any acid. There's like no acid. He's like, go home and take some Pepsid. Okay. So I went through the package of Pepsid, and the symptoms weren't going away. And then someone that I knew, didn't know him well, but he dropped dead of a heart attack in the parking lot of the grocery store. And it kind of freaked me out. And just my spidey sense was, you got to find out what this is, right? And I had done a little research, and, it said women can have different signals, for heart attacks than other people, or that for other people than men. And so my doctor ordered a stress test. So I went to the local hospital. This was 4th of July weekend. I will probably never forget this day, 4th of July weekend of 2012. And they put me on the treadmill. They had, 12 electrodes hanging off of me and all that jazz. And they couldn't get my heart rate high enough to get the reading. Apparently I was in pretty decent shape. And they kept making the treadmill go faster and increasing the incline. And all of a sudden the thing, whatever the thing is in my throat, it happened. So they stopped the machine, they threw me on the bed, they took all the readings, and they sent me home. Okay, they sent me home. And this is back in the Chicago area. I lived about maybe 15 minutes from that hospital. Just a few minutes after I got home, I got a call from my primary care physician. And he said, you have to go back to the hospital through emergency. You need surgery.
That was carotid. Was it
No.
a carotid artery?
No, they said that my LAD was blocked and I needed to have a stent put in. So I was single, okay, and it's the dead of summer. So I'm like I didn't feel sick, right? So stupidly, I didn't feel a sense of urgency. My first call was to my next door neighbor at work. And I'm like, Judy, seems I have to go to the hospital and have some kind of heart surgery. I'm not sure how long I'll be gone. Will you please water my plants? That was my first thought. Somebody's got to water my plants. So I drove myself to the hospital, and they hooked me up. Boy, they really pay attention to you when they think you're going to have a heart attack. Okay. I had a lot of attention even on 4th of July weekend. So I had the stent surgery, and of course they put me on statins, which I ended up being on for 10 years. Blood thinners for a while. There's like a minimum course of blood thinners after you have heart surgery, whatever that minimum was. I got off of it after that. And just over time, the gut issues were never resolved, blah, blah, blah. So during this time, I start following, let's call them influencers. I don't know what else to call them. Following people on Facebook. They're doctors. Some of them aren't doctors, but they're talking about health. And I was obsessed. I was obsessed at trying to figure out how to navigate health with all these things going on. I had the thyroid, so autoimmunity. I just had a heart stent. Right about this time when I started studying or listening to just hours and hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos from practitioners, I had been bleeding internally for about 3 years. And initially they're like, yeah, I know. It was like kind of coming out in the bathroom, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
And initially they're like, we think you might have some internal hemorrhoids, but it just kept going on and on. So at this point, I had moved to Colorado and I was looking for a new doctor. I wasn't familiar enough with like naturopathic doctors, the whole cash only thing. So I did find a doctor that was a traditional MD, but he was also a DO and certified in functional medicine. I'm like, yes,
there you go.
Really close to my house. So he was pretty good. He did educate me a little bit. And he did, because this bleeding internally had been going on for so long, he did recommend a colonoscopy, which I didn't want to get, but it was scary. So I got it. And the doctor that did the procedure, I hate to even say this word out loud, but it has come up in my life a couple of times, so I just have to say it. Hope people are not offended. So she said, you have to do enemas. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So she writes me a prescription and I go to pick them up at the pharmacy. I had no idea what to expect. First of all, they were absurdly expensive and they weren't covered by insurance. And I came out with these really heavy bags and I looked at the instructions and I put them under my sink and I'm like, I just can't. I just can't do this. I went back to my DO and he did the Genova stool test, which no one had done before. You've heard
I
of it,
don't
right?
even know. Explain to it. No.
Oh,
I've had some stool tests done because I've had
Okay.
issues, but
Okay.
I never
Did
heard of
you
that
do
one.
like a fit test or something, or a more comprehensive
I don't
one?
know. They told me to poop in this bowl, scoop it into this little thing, and take it in.
Put the
'Cause they thought
solutions in.
yes, and I had they thought I had C. diff for like 2 years. And actually what I had was B vitamin toxicity. Whole nother story.
Wow. Yeah, I think I've heard that story of yours actually.
Mm,
Um,
Because the doctor's over prescribing me supplements, but it's okay. So
yeah.
anyway,
So what
tell
he
us about
ended
this
up,
test.
so the results came back in like a 10-page report in color, okay? And there was a lot of red. Now we know from blood tests, red is bad. What
Yeah.
it basically told us is I was severely inflamed in my gut, and like severely. And I was diagnosed with irritable bowel and SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Mhm.
Yep.
So I had both, and I had them real bad. So this doctor did prescribe he did one prescription and then one over-the-counter thing and recommended some supplements. I don't remember what they are right now. He talked to me a little bit about food, but he never recommended like carnivore. He never recommended per se an elimination diet, but he's like, be careful with, and I literally don't even remember what he told me, but whatever it was that he told me, and with these drugs, it improved a little bit. I had a subsequent test, and I was still really inflamed. So that was that. And then I found, do you know who Dr. Living Good is? Living Good Daily? So Living Good Daily, the guy's name literally is Blake Living Good. And I found Living Good Daily on Facebook. This cute doctor, Dr. Living Good, is doing all these posts and putting out all this unbelievable free content on his free Facebook page. And every single thing he was talking about just made total sense to me. And that was 6 or 7 years ago. And after following him, one of the first thing he starts with is cut the carbs. Curb your consumption. I mean, he talks about get some exercise, get some sun, clear out the toxins. I'm like, that seems very logical to me. And so within several months, I joined his private Facebook community. And after a year, I just decided I'm a lifetime member. I'm still a huge fan, FYI, if anybody's looking for supplements. He's got super clean, third-party tested, amazing supplements if you need supplements. And then I doubled down. I really started cutting the carbs, but I would say I cut them to low carb. I'm not even sure. I don't remember what the numbers are. Hi, Connie. I'm not sure what the numbers are, that make you low carb, keto. I know what hardcore carnivore is, but I was probably just lower carb than people on the standard American diet. Okay. So then, so I was listening, I think it was to one of your recent podcasts about how stress affects you.
Me?
Yeah, didn't you? Yes.
Yeah, I talk about stress all the time.
Okay. So, but I
There
was
might be a
listening to one.
reason.
Yeah. And I had worked in the same industry for almost 30 years. And I had worked for the same company for 22 years, and I loved it. It was a stressful job, definitely. But I loved the company, loved the team, great environment. But at the end of 2021, we got acquired. So the company I worked for was privately owned, then it was owned by private equity. And then this, multi-billion-dollar global public company acquired us, and life totally changed. And I started seeing, so that was the end of 2021. And I started seeing some health issues. And at this point, I was working with a naturopathic physician in Arizona. And the main practice is actually started as a cardiac practice. And she was trained in cardiology, but was much broader than that. And some of my numbers were not looking so good. And my A1C, like I wasn't tracking fasting insulin back then, okay, when I first met her. And actually, in hindsight, I can't remember if she tracked fasting insulin, but I wasn't sleeping well. My gut was still having issues. And she kept saying to me, you have to manage the stress better. You have to get better sleep. But that is easier said than done, right? When
Right.
you're in a high stress situation, yes.
Right.
And
understand.
so I worked with her for a couple of years. And oh, by the way, I've been off the statins now for about 7 years. Haven't gone back
Okay,
on.
how did that go? Like here you've had
Not
a
as
stent
bad as
put
I
in.
thought. Not as bad as I thought. And I
How
will
did
tell
the
you why.
doctors take it?
So I called my cardiologist, my allopathic cardiologist, my extremely overweight cardiologist who had a lane, right? And I told him that I wanted to manage my health from a more natural way, and I didn't want to be on the statins anymore. So he had me come in and do a stress test. And he just had me come in and do a stress test. Of course, the last stress test I failed and ended up having surgery. So they said, well, let's just see how you're doing. Let's do a stress test. I aced the stress test. And so he gave me the blessing to get off the statins. Okay. I should also throw in, with the DO doctor in Colorado, rather than doing an invasive cardiac test, and this was approximately 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, he said, let's do a carotid scan. Okay, which is very simple and non-invasive. See if the carotid arteries are blocked. That'll at least give us a clue about what's happening. And they were blocked. Both of them were blocked. And I was, they give you like a medical age to compare to your real age. And at that point in time, my medical or my carotid age and my real age were much closer. And my doctor wanted to put me on statins. And I said, no, I'm going to do this through diet. So I lowered my carbs again. I don't remember how many I was doing, but less than 100. Okay. And I had the carotid scan redone 2 years later, and they were clear.
What? Okay, whoa. Record scratch noise here. I thought once you had blockages,
No,
you can't reverse
not
those.
apparently not in carotids. Not in carotids. So they gave me my carotid age. I wish I could pull out the report really fast right now because I save all my reports. But my carotid age was considerably less than my physical age. So that was a praise God. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know what else I've had. This, that, and the other thing. So let's fast forward. I switched naturopathic doctors when I moved to North Carolina, just because it was more convenient. If I wanted to go see her, I could. If I wanted to do remote. And that's when my A1C got up to 5.8. And I was
Up
I was
to or down to?
up
It was
to.
up.
It
Okay.
yeah, it had never been that high. So it was in the pre-diabetic range, or as Dr. Berry would say, early diabetes, right?
Right.
And that really scared me because I knew enough to be dangerous, right? And she
Mhm.
also was telling me stress and sleep, and you got to just be careful of the sugar, whatever that means for you, right? She was very gentle. So I cut back to about maybe 50 carbs a day. I was kind of sort of tracking. And then I went to 30 carbs a day. And in 3 months, my A1C was 5.4. I started getting morning sun. I started doing the right lifestyle things, right? So let's fast forward to January of this year. So let's fast forward to October of 2025. The stress level at work was it was ridiculous.
When was this? What?
October of 2025.
So we were already in
Almost
the
a year.
PhD. We were in the PhD class at this point because we
We
started in
were.
September. I'm just trying to do a
Yes,
relative
yes.
timeline
We
here.
were already in the PhD program, so I was working full time, hating it. But I had so much tenure with the company because when the company acquired my little company, they continued the tenure. Okay. And they had fired a ton of my colleagues, and a lot of my colleagues just left on their own because they totally messed with our compensation plan and benefits and all that. And because I was already on Social Security. Okay. I was about to I turned 72 in November. Okay.
You don't
So
look it, by the way. You barely look like 60. I'm just saying.
thank you.
Right?
Thank you. I had tried to get a demotion. God's honest truth. I loved my boss, by the way. I had a great boss. But and she came from the company that I had already been working with. And more than half of my job, probably 3/4 of my job, was basically sales. I did executive search, and I had to bring in new clients. And then the other part of my job, and I placed corporate finance and accounting people. And then the other half of my job was to work with someone to find candidates to fill the jobs. They pay those big fees. And so 3 times in a year, I went to my boss and I asked her for a demotion. And I said, I'm so burned out. And I kept telling her my health is being affected by the stress. And I just want to work with candidates. I don't want to have to work on the sales side anymore. And she's like, you won't make anywhere near as much money. I'm like, I don't care. And 3 times management said no. So October 2025, I go to a new church. Now, mind you, I had been hanging in there for my severance package for 4 years. I'm like, because everybody, all my peers that had much less tenure than me were getting these great severance packages. They weren't firing me. And this is embarrassing to admit, I wasn't exactly producing the way I should be. Anyway, I go to this new church, and the very first message I hear is you can't serve God and money. Now, here's the interesting thing. While we were in the coaching program, I believed that God led me to that. And I've told my story before, but I think it's important to tell it here. I named my coaching business Health for Purpose. Okay. With the number 4. And one of the very first videos that I did, and I never wanted to do a video, ever, ever, ever. I swore to like Kim and Alyssa, I will never do a video.
I remember.
But I felt led by God to say why I named my business Health for Purpose. And it's very simple, because as long as we have breath, we have gifts, and we are meant to serve the Lord. We have a purpose, and we can't serve it if we don't have health. And that's where I come from. Okay. So I hear this message on can't serve God and money. And I was like, are you talking to me, God? Maybe I'm supposed to get on with my purpose and just give up the damn retirement money, the severance money, right? Within 48 hours, I quit my job, walked away from the potential severance, just quit it, and never looked back. So that's how the name of the business came. And I don't feel, so that's October.
I'm going to stop you for just a second, because we've had quite a few people come in here. I would just want to acknowledge them. Uncle
Sure.
Charlie's here. Hi. My sister Janine is watching from Facebook. Hi, Janine. She's the one who got me to the keto lifestyle. So welcome. Karen Spencer's here. Aaron
Hey, Karen.
Carnivor's guy here. Rick Charger Mopar is here. Quack, quack, Rick. Ivy's in the house. NC Cajun joined us. Angie Z. Coach Angela Mullins, who was also in our classes here. Welcome. BBA is here. I think this is Barb. Welcome. Connie, who you said hi to. Bo Hager's here. And great Gigi Monopoly. I think that's Jennifer. She says hi.
Jennifer. Yeah. Hi,
She's
Jennifer.
here. And Dustin's in the house. Keto. He was in our class too.
Yeah.
Keto Simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So you quit your job in 48
I quit my
hours.
job in 48 hours. No regrets. And I have felt peace about it ever since. So that was my last day, was the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
And in January, well, so here, we'll start the little diagnose, the cancer journey. Okay. I noticed one morning, this was before October, that, that's your disclaimer. It's your disclaimer.
Oh, and by the way, everybody, we're not doctors. This is not medical advice. DJ's just telling her person.
I'm just telling the story, not recommending anything. Anyway.
So you woke up one morning.
And I was doing my hair, and I noticed in my left armpit, I didn't have a pit. Okay, so when you think about when you lift up your armpits, there's like a little, I didn't have one.
It was swollen?
It was swollen. I'm like, that was like, what the heck is that? I had no pain. So I'm like, doing one of those, and there's a good sized lump in there.
Oh
And
no.
I'm like, that can't be good. And I knew it was my lymph nodes. And then I found another one under my left boob. So I call my naturopathic doctor, and she knows that I have a rebounder. Because at this point, my numbers were pretty good. Okay, my metabolic numbers were really good. My weight's good, my metabolic numbers are good. And she said, do some lymphatic massage, use the rebounder, and if things don't go away pretty quickly, you've got to go have it tested. So it didn't go away. So I probably waited longer than I should, but in January of this year, so I didn't have a doctor. I didn't have
I
a
don't-
doctor.
I don't.
Start
now.
looking for one now, because I would like to add this to the story if we have time at the end. So I didn't have a doctor. And so I just started researching doctors near me and looked for one that I could, because I'm on Medicare since I'm retired.
Right.
I looked for one that took insurance, that wasn't too far, and that had a DO with his name. So at least they had some training, right? Went and saw him. He was evil. He was horrible. If I had it,
That's why I
in
don't have
me-
a doctor.
If I
I had
had
a
it in
DO.
me, with God as my witness, I would sue the man. It was that bad. But I had to go along because they needed the test. So he sent me in for a diagnostic mammogram. And that, of course, confirmed what I already knew. And then they sent me in for biopsies. And I didn't realize what a lot of people say about biopsies. Again, we're not doctors, but some will say that when you biopsy a cancerous tumor, you're just opening it up and letting it spread. Well, I was kind of like in holy crap mode, and I just needed to know what was going on. So I did the biopsy. It was confirmed. Not a nice form of breast cancer. So that hospital set me up with an appointment with their surgical oncologist first. I don't know why the surgeon first, but he came first. I loved him. I know that sounds crazy. I loved him. I loved him so much that toward the end of our meeting, I started to get up. I wanted to hug him. He was just like, if I had to have surgery, I would go back to him in a heartbeat. Okay. I was standing up. I was going to give him a hug. He was, we almost hit heads. He was standing up to give me a hug. I know that sounds crazy, but
No,
anyway,
it doesn't.
so he explained what the procedure would be. And I think, like, I don't remember any of it. Okay. It was just like, oh, this is happening. So the next appointment I had was with the medical oncologist. Now, this is the part, she was okay. I didn't offer to hug. I wasn't going to hug her. Okay. No hugs for her. She was a little bit stern. Okay. And she laid out my treatment plan. Okay. Are we ready? So my treatment plan. I believe it was 14 rounds of chemo with 5 drugs.
Oh,
And then there would probably be drugs to mitigate the side effects of those drugs in the chemo. Then I would have the surgery. Then I would have 14 rounds of radiation. Then I would have a drug that I would be on for 5 years.
my sister's on that drug, yes.
And another drug for a year. And I look at this woman and I said, I am not good at math. But when I add up the number of years that all this is going to take to my current age, I said, I'm going to be 77. And over the next 6 or 7 years, 5, 6, 7 years, I'm going to feel terrible. I said, I can't sign up for that. And when I had gone in to meet with all these doctors, I had a million questions. And at the very top of the page, I had in big bold letters that I am choosing quality of life, especially given my age. Okay.
Yeah.
What can you buy me? 3 years? Like, I'm not saying 3 years isn't good, but buying me 3 years if 6 or 7 are miserable from the treatment, that wasn't sitting well with me. Okay. So then I found a doctor on my own that was an integrative internist, trained in functional medicine, no, certified in integrative medicine, and he only saw cancer patients. That's what I said. Ooh, yay.
Was this near you, or did you have to travel to go see him?
Nope, this was in one of the hospital systems right here where I live. And so I met with him, liked him a lot. But he wasn't an oncologist, and he doesn't order testing. So I wasn't really sure how I would utilize him. Okay. So then I joined a Facebook page for mostly women with the exact same diagnosis that I got. It was very specific.
Do you mind saying what type of
I don't
breast
mind.
cancer you have?
It's invasive ductal carcinoma with HER2 estrogen positive. Yes.
Okay.
So I joined the Facebook page. I'm like, oh, I'll be around like-minded women. I was on it for like a week. I just wanted to cry every time I saw a post, because the majority of the women were on conventional treatments and they were not happy. They were not happy. And it really, really scared me. And I didn't know what to do. So there's been so many God dots in my story, Amy. It's unbelievable. So I unfollowed that page. Lisa,
Sorry. So
that's
ignore
okay.
the bacon. So Lisa Bennett. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Aaron Booby Goats. Just subscribe to the channel. Is that one of your friends?
Nice. No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think so.
So anyway, you were watching
Anyway,
all of the posts.
I was
and you
watching
were
the post.
upset.
So I unfollowed that page, and I found an alternative medicine holistic cancer site. There's a bunch of them. I just found one, and just, how you have to kind of put in your little story, and then admin
Yeah.
let you in, right? So I put in my little story, and I'm literally still at my computer, and the admin let me in like a nanosecond, which I thought was kind of funny. About, I don't know, 2 minutes later, maybe I'm exaggerating, 3 minutes later, somebody makes a comment to me. This lovely lady named Susanna. And she basically says, DM me if you want to, I have something to share with you. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I have something to share with you. I don't really just DM anybody. I don't know who you are. I mean, you're on a cancer site, so I don't know why you'd be like trolling. But so I went and I checked out her profile. So I think she lives in central Wisconsin. I live in North Carolina. I go look at her profile. She grew up in a little suburb of Chicago called Deerfield, Illinois.
I know
Guess
where that
what?
is.
That's where I grew up. I went
In
to Deerfield High
Deerfield?
School.
I'm in
Yes.
South Bend, northern Indiana. So like Chicago is just like an hour from me.
Yes. No, I'm familiar with that.
So yeah.
So I'm Deerfield, Illinois. That's crazy. So I, of course, DM her. I'm like, girl, we grew up in the same town, Deerfield. Like, I couldn't even believe it. And she's like, hey, do you want to talk? I'm like, yeah. So we got on the phone. So Susanna is the one that referred me to the Christian Holistic Cancer Clinic that I have been going to since February.
Wow.
Okay. And then I got a little crazier even. So I travel. Well, I had been traveling every month to Tennessee for my treatments. I can talk about that in a minute, but Susanna introduced me to a couple, and the husband has stage 4 prostate cancer. And so she introduced us, and we did a Zoom call. And it turns out that they are independent documentary filmmakers. Okay. And we would see one another each month at the clinic, because the clinic isn't open every single day of the month, because they're relatively new in Tennessee. They've got like 4 or 5 other locations in the US, but we would see each other every month. Well, they put together a documentary for the clinic, and they interviewed me. Now, I haven't posted it anywhere because I'm not quite sure I'm not quite sure what to do with it yet. But that's been kind of interesting. And so that's what I've been doing. So the clinic it's a clinical trial. If anyone is familiar with the cancer world, like maybe your sister, maybe y'all have heard of Hope for Cancer in Mexico. When I was doing my research on like more holistic ways of treating cancer, Hope for Cancer kept coming up. Susanna had gone to Hope for Cancer because Susanna has cancer. She has skin cancer. And this couple that I mentioned, who are the documentary makers, they met Susanna at Hope for Cancer. I mean, it's just like so intertwined. The clinic that I go to now uses a proprietary it's called a nanotherapy. And the doctor that created it, it comes in little vials, like you put a syringe into it and suck it out, like when you're getting an injection. Okay. The guy who created it used to work for Hope for Cancer, and that's the only place that it was ever available. Okay. And then some things happened, and that doctor left Hope for Cancer. And now the only place you can get that nanotechnology, which is a bunch of natural supplements, okay, is through this clinic that I go to.
And that's the protocol you're taking. You're on,
well,
right?
it's a major component. So I get that through an IV, which they do. I go to the clinic 2 days a month, and they back-to-back days, and both days they will use it in an IV. They will inject the tumors, and then when I leave the clinic, so I go back the next day, and they do the same thing all over again. They send me home with a bag of goodies that includes my own vials. So I had to find a local IV clinic. That was a bitch. I couldn't find anybody to do it. I called like 9 different places because
they inject you with these,
because it was somebody else's solution. Okay, they order their, high dose vitamin C or whatever else they're injecting. They know where it's coming from. So it was like a big deal to find one.
So did you find one?
I did, but then, well, let me finish with, well, I'll just stick with the IV for a minute. So every month, so one thing about cancer is they're tricky little suckers, okay? They're very adaptive, evil little things. And so every month, the nanotherapy solution is tweaked a little bit, okay? A couple of months ago, they started adding Rose of Sharon, which is based from the hibiscus flower. It is actually
Wait.
mentioned in the Song of Solomon.
No, wait. Is that like the same Rose of Sharon that my parents have out back of their house right here, like next door to me?
Yes,
'Cause-
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just asking for a friend.
Yep. So that was one of the things that was in my new solution. And for a couple of months, I had no reaction to it at all. Some people were having some reactions. I didn't have any reaction. And then approximately 2 months ago, they upped, because I wasn't having any reaction, they upped the dose. And when I went and had it done at my local IV clinic, I had a terrible reaction. We thought we're going to have to like transport me to the hospital.
Oh no.
But they stopped the drip, and it was bad. It scared me a lot. And then what I'm seeing in my blood work, my histamine numbers are really high, and my platelets have gotten really high. And we're thinking that my body is just having a really strong reaction. So the product that I have now, they went back to half the dose, and I haven't had a reaction. I was getting hives. Yeah, but the hives were nothing compared to the rest of the reaction.
So I have a question for you, because I
Any
think I
question you
remember you
like.
saying something about this. Are they able to scan your cancer at that clinic? And where are you able to go to get scans? Are you
Okay.
able to go to
So
get scans?
what this clinic uses is something called the RGCC test, which is also known as the Greek test.
Chemical
You've heard of it?
biopsy? Is that the
I'm
chemical
allergic to
biopsy?
roses. Oh, well, I don't know that
Rose
these aren't
Rose
roses.
of
These aren't roses.
Sharon are
This
not
is
roses.
it's
That's a different plant.
hibiscus. I think it's a hibiscus plant. And they're beautiful.
Okay, wait. Go back to this other thing. Is that the chemical biopsy test?
It's not it's a blood test. It's just a
Okay.
blood test. It's called a liquid biopsy.
Yeah, that's what I meant,
Yes.
liquid biopsy. I said
Yes.
chemical biopsy, but I meant liquid.
Yeah.
I saw, I think it was, someone was doing Dr. Thomas Seyfried's protocol, and they were talking about cancer, and this guy beat stage 4 aortic cancer. And they were talking about the liquid biopsy, and that's where I learned about that.
Okay. Well, they did one for me in February. So
And
it generates a report. The only lab, there's only one lab that reads the results, and it's in Greece. That's why some people just call it the Greek test. Okay. It spits out a report that it was 30 some pages long, and literally it looked like it was in Greek. Okay. I ran the whole thing through chat, and even chat simplification was really complicated for me. But basically what it does is it gives you data about both traditional therapies like chemo, okay, and all the different drugs through the allopathic model, and what their efficiency or efficacy will be for my specific cancer. I don't have cancer. I just diagnosed with cancer. For the diagnosis that I have, and for my DNA. So it's specific to my diagnosis and my DNA. So it'll give you, okay, here are all the traditional treatments that have either higher or lower efficacy for you. Okay. It also gives, here are all the natural supplements and treatments that have high or lower efficacy for you. And many of them I was already on through the clinic.
Okay.
Okay. So it gives you a number of circulating cancer cells per, I want to say 7 milliliters of blood, something like that. And the first test I had, well, so I had a follow-up test. 3.5 months later, there was virtually no change. Okay. Which isn't bad news. It wasn't great news, but it was only 3.5 months, and they test you about every 3 months. But what I can say is it's now been 8 months, going on 9 months since the diagnosis. And if I didn't know that I had a diagnosis, I wouldn't even know that I was sick.
Wow.
So there's a praise. There's a praise. Except for the times that I was having a really bad reaction to the IV. Other than that, yeah. So, but the more comprehensive therapy beyond that nanotherapy, which goes again IV, and then either into the tumors. I don't do the tumor injections, but I'll do my own intramuscular every week, and then an IV locally every week, and a slew of supplements. And then they also want me doing, well, one doctor said I should do infrared sauna. He no longer works there. The new doctor or the naturopathic nurse that I work with, she says, you shouldn't do that. I'm going to do it. I haven't found any compelling evidence that says infrared is bad for cancer. And then
Can you
because
still feel the lump? Can you still feel the lump in your arm?
yes, but they have changed shapes and they have changed sizes.
Bigger or
And
smaller?
Yes, both. Initially they get bigger, but that's because they're injecting fluid into them.
Right.
So they get bigger for a period of time, but then they get smaller. But it's weird how they've changed shapes. And this is don't tell me anything different, because I need to tell this to myself. I tell myself they're afraid of me. That's why they're changing. They're trying to hide. They're changing shapes.
I love it.
I gotta have a sense of humor, right? Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what you focused on in your diet through all of this.
Yes.
Have you made tweaks? Yeah.
I went max 10 carbs a day. That's max. It was only 7. So, all right, well, let me go back. Before I signed up for this clinic, because it's not cheap and it's all cash. Okay. One of the first questions that I asked, so when I was doing research on like holistic, naturopathic, functional medicine treatment for this disease, you won't be surprised, the majority of them are plant-based. Okay. Very much plant-based. So one of the very first questions I asked them when I called the clinic was, what kind of a diet do you recommend, for your patients? And this adorable young woman who does a whole bunch of stuff at the clinic says to me, I don't really want to name the doctor's name, but Dr. X, okay, Dr. X loves steak. I'm like, alrighty then, when can I come down? I'm not kidding. And so
is this a doctor that we know? That's
No,
not this?
no. And actually,
why
he's
you're
not,
not-
he's not a medical doctor. He's actually I think he has a doctorate in like agricultural engineering. And he spent the majority of his career, a lot of his career, developing nanotherapies and nanotechnology for agriculture. Until something happened in his family, someone had cancer,
Mhm.
and he decided to start researching cancer, and then started working, and then got out of the agriculture business, and now he's been working with cancer patients for like 20 some years. But yeah, so on the take home instructions that they give you with your protocol between clinic visits, it states ketogenic diet, very low sugar. So I was already on fairly low, but I was down to like 7 grams of carbs a day. One of the things that you have to really be mindful of in life, but particularly with this, is you've got to be mindful to not get into a cachexia situation of wasting muscle, because cancer likes to like obliterate your muscles. And so I tried to be very mindful of that, but I was having a hard time. Like, I typically eat OMAD. It just works for me. I don't particularly like to cook it. I used to cook a lot. I don't particularly like to cook that much anymore. So, as I've said in my videos, if you're looking for a coach that will help you with recipes, I will refer you, because it won't be me. Because when I get up in the morning, I look in the freezer. What meat do I want? Do I want fish? I take them out, I defrost them, and when I'm ready to eat, I cook them. That's my recipe for the most part. But I was having a hard time getting enough protein macros.
Protein.
So about 2 months ago, I started adding a scoop of Equip Prime,
Mhm.
which is 20 or 21 grams of protein. So I will put that in my coffee in the morning, but that adds an additional 3 grams of carbs. So now I'm like 10 grams of carbs. Okay.
Mhm.
But I think based on a lot of the people that I talk to from the clinic, they can't even imagine, only doing that many. So my diet really has just pivoted, 6, 7 years ago. I was probably low carb relative to the standard American diet. Then it went to 50, then it went to 30. And then around that time, when the insulin, the A1C started creeping up, I started dropping that. And then with the diagnosis, I'm like, I'm dialed in. I'm like totally dialed in. Yeah. So.
That's awesome. We got another question from John, overhauling health. He's one of the PhD coaches too that was in class. He says,
Oh,
when you
hey,
got
John.
diagnosed while in the academy, did you hesitate at all to tell everyone you have cancer, or did you not? I can imagine the mental toll that took on you, and I know where you're going to go with this because you
You
had
can answer
kind
it.
of
You can answer it.
you felt shame. Tell us about the
It's
shame. Tell
exactly
us
how I
why
felt.
you felt shame. Tell us about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because John, I did go public in the PhD community during a live.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure if I should, but I'm like, no, I don't want to keep this to myself. What a ridiculous thing to keep this to myself in the health community, right? So the reason I think that I felt shame is that I had been working on my health so, in my mind, so diligently for so long. I lost all the weight. got to the ideal weight. I'm stronger than I've ever been in my life. Yeah, I can lift pretty heavy for being kind of a small person. My metabolic numbers, I'm very metabolically healthy and have been doing all the right things for like increasingly better over the past 7 years or so. And like, how could this happen? And I will tell you, I'm going to get back to the stress part. Okay. I had 2 different naturopathic doctors tell me the stress is really getting to you. Okay. And for about 4 years, it was largely related to my job. But then 2.5 years ago, I had a personal situation with my child come up, which I'm not going to share that story right now. Maybe
okay.
another interview. And well, my child will be 44 in December.
Wow.
And up until 2.5 years ago, we were pretty damn close. I mean, like, really. Okay. Did we have our problems? Yes, because my child was a brutal kid to raise. Okay. I don't know if you can see this. See this?
I love
Is it backwards?
Mom.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
This
okay,
is-
but we can. Mom.
That's what it
spelled
says.
Mom.
I love, oh, that's
Backwards.
right. It's same way. Yeah. It is a book published. Every single page is about love. The last page says, I love you in every language. But
Aw.
2.5 years ago, we had a little disagreement. We had a conversation on the phone that escalated, and we just never did that ever before. Have we had disagreements? Yes, but this was of the devil kind of conversation. And that was that. No contact. I'm cut off from my child. I'm cut off from my grandson. Like totally cut off. And that emotional stress combined with the work stress, in my mind, did not help this situation at all.
No.
So, yeah. Yeah. So that kind of
Stress.
sucked.
I talk about stress all the time, and I'll be honest, I wouldn't be real. I'm terrible at reducing stress too. I have a hard time saying no, and I keep taking more things on. You know, you've seen what I've been doing, but
I
I have a
know.
plan. Eventually, it's going to get better, right? Eventually, it's going to get better. So I'm just sticking with it for now. But yeah, stress is a big deal, and no one knows. Like, you could have been exposed to something. I'm assuming you didn't get the genetic testing done, right? You did not get gene testing done.
No. Well, actually,
I don't. Did you?
no. But that reminds me of something else. In the first quarter of 2025, somewhere around February of 2025, I had a virus of some sort. I never even get colds. Okay. This sucker, and I didn't get, the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Didn't get the thing.
intervention. I call it
I
the
didn't get that
intervention.
intervention. No, I did not. And this virus thing, I didn't go get tested, but it was by far the sickest I've ever been. It literally took, I don't know, 3 months, 2 to 3 months. And I started logging. I started having bizarre infections in my body. I had finger infections. I had eye infections. Like all of 2025, or for most of 2025, it was just one thing after another. So that also could have contributed. God literally only knows. And, you know, a lot of people in the health community or in the faith community will talk about, you know, pain for purpose, right? And if I can help people get metabolically healthy and become aware of really just pretty simple lifestyle choices, eventually stacking, you know, on top of one another, is it going to guarantee you don't get, you know, have a heart attack, or guarantee you don't get cancer or no, there is no guarantee. You know, it's a fallen world. But you can do things to certainly make yourself better. And the first time I went to the cancer clinic in Tennessee, I brought them my most recent blood work, and they looked at it, and they almost couldn't believe my fasting insulin, okay, because it was really low. Even my CRP, I have like no inflammation. It was like 0.3. It was crazy. You know, my A1C is good. My HCl to trig ratio, really good. My height to weight, all good. Got muscle. And they're like, that is really to your advantage. So I feel really blessed that I'm coming from a place of, I don't have all those hurdles that I have to first overcome. Yeah. If you are speaking, we can't hear you.
I muted myself to blow my nose. Okay, there's a couple of comments here, if you don't mind. Jerry posted Dr. Living Goods link. Thank you, Jerry. She's my moderator.
Okay.
Lisa says, hi, DJ. I love
Oh,
you
hi,
so
Lisa.
much. I know you
Oh.
from the Dr. Living Good family. Thank you so much for doing this live. Thank you for coming on.
Nice.
And then
Thank you.
Carrie's got another joke. He says, you know why Greeks aren't morning peeps? Since dawn is harsh on Greece.
Oh, gosh.
Dish grease. He's so funny. And then Angie asks, did they ever discuss a fasting therapy regime to help your diagnosis?
They do recommend fasting. They recommend once a week, 24-hour, and once a month, 72-hour.
And are you
And
doing that?
I suck at this. Now, I do it. Like the 24-hour, I can make work. Okay. The 72-hour. So I've done some experiments. Okay. I have never done a 72-hour water fast. Okay. First of all, even so, what I've been doing for the 72 hours is I'm doing fat fasting just to get me through. So I make browned butter bites, and I will consume those, coffee and electrolytes. And I just actually did one finished one a couple days ago, and it got my glucose down to 62. I was actually feeling a little like, ooh, that's kind of low. Very high therapeutic ketosis, and my
Yep.
glucose was 62. But it concerned me a little that it was 62. So I was
Yeah. Like that being too low?
I was feeling kind of lightheaded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably could have done it overnight and then just gotten up and broken the fast in the morning. But I used it as an excuse. Truth. Oh, 62. That's pretty good.
I had a similar response to my glucose got down to 53. I tried to do a 72. Yeah, my
Wow.
ketones were up to like 6 or 7. And so I don't think it was the glucose because my blood glucose has gotten that low before, right?
Oh, wow.
I think it was the ketones being so high is what was making me not feel well. I just wasn't
I got
used to
up really
that.
high once as well. I don't even remember under what circumstances, because I just recently figured out how to add a note in my keto mojo.
I don't know how
Um,
to do that, and I'm a tech person. But here's the deal: if you need people to do a challenge, invite people to do this with you. If you
yeah,
really need motivation, there's a bunch of us now. The last 72-hour fast I did was a disaster. I was sick for a week after that because whatever thing that I had, I was nauseated for a week after I tried to fast for 72 hours. But I
yeah,
could probably do like 55 or 60 of that maybe,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I would, if you like struggle with it, because I struggle with it,
yeah.
invite group. I bet you bunch of people. You know how people shave their heads when people are going through chemo and they lose
Yes.
their hair?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
people would do this with you. They would fast as a like a support
Well,
fasting
have
with
we
you.
I'm not sure if Jolene is on here. You know who Jolene is from
Yes, and I
THC?
haven't seen her. I have
Okay.
not seen her.
She did um she did 24 hours with me
I
recently.
can do 24 hours, no
Yeah.
problem. I can do
Oh yeah,
32 hours,
24
no
hours I
problem.
could do. 24 hours I can do.
So, yes, yes. So if you need a buddy system, we're all here for you, girl. If you
All
need
right.
someone to help cheer you on, because fasting isn't my favorite thing, but I would do it for a
No.
purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. I did this was maybe 2 months ago. So they're warning me, about this whole cachexia thing, right? And who did that 72 hours without support? Yeah, you're a better person than me.
Yeah,
um,
I struggle.
to be careful with weight loss because I really can't afford to lose weight. And I don't even think it was a full 72 hours, but I dropped like 6 pounds. And I think, you know, it,
That's
I,
the
it, it makes me a little like, I know I'm going to eat again, right? That's not the problem, but it just, I don't know. They're
so
excuses.
think of it this way. Okay, so yes, you will lose weight while you're fasting for 72 hours. It's inevitable. The minute you start eating again, you're going to gain it back.
Oh,
That
100%.
the fasting period is to give your body a rest. So
Right.
instead of focusing on digesting the food, it's focusing on digesting the cancer. And if your blood glucose gets so low, and this is not medical advice, this is just what I've learned from listening
Yes.
to Dr. Thomas Seyfried. I'm just saying that again. What
Yes.
I've learned from Dr. Thomas Seyfried is we all know cancer feeds on sugar. And if you get your glucose and fasting insulin down, there's nothing for the cancer to eat. And I
Right.
don't know, are you familiar with Anthony Haydock?
Yes, I've talked to him
Have you?
multiple times. Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And just for the
He's a
audience,
little he's a
obviously,
little crude. He's a little crude,
yeah,
but
well,
he's
yeah.
he's a cancer warrior.
Yeah, so for the audience, please go find Anthony Haydock. He had stage 4 GIST cancer, which is fatal,
Gastrointestinal. Yeah.
and it's almost always fatal, stomach cancer. And he started with traditional medicine, traditional therapies, chemotherapy, and he shows his pictures. He was like in his 30s, I
Aged
think,
him like
and
20 years.
he looked like he was 80. I mean,
Yeah.
and then when he
Yeah.
stopped and went strict carnivore, he looks amazing, and he's lived longer than
Yeah. Yeah.
they
Have you interviewed him?
expected. Oh, I should ask him. He's amazing. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
So I haven't been good at asking people to interview. I'm like, oh, people will reach out if they want to interview, but I find I know
Well,
you got to
and
pursue them.
he's in the Healing Humanity movie.
I didn't know that. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I was at Meatstock. Yeah, he's in the Healing Humanity movie. I don't
Oh
think
my
they gave
gosh.
him enough time in it personally, but he's in the Healing Humanity movie.
So I'm going to see that in 2 weeks. I'm going up to Kalamazoo, Michigan. You're probably familiar with that since you lived
Yeah.
up north. And so Robin Heron does a meetup every year. I missed it last year because my thyroid was trash a year ago and I didn't feel like even driving an hour to Michigan. So I missed it last year, but Carrie Mann's going to be there, and he is showing the movie there in a private viewing. So I'm so excited I
Okay.
get to see it. I didn't
Yeah.
realize he was in it though, but we're friends on Facebook. He would come on for an interview, wouldn't he? I'm sure he
Oh,
would.
100%. 100%.
I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm a huge fan. And yeah, he's a little rough around the edges when he talks, but I mean, he's a good guy and he's a hard
I think
worker
so too.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I wanted to
So
read this
I
comment.
found him, I was just going to say, I found him randomly. Like he just came across my feed one day and he was doing a live broadcast. There were only like 4 people watching, and I was one of them. And so he was communicating in the chat with anybody who was communicating. And then we just ended up communicating multiple times through like DM on Facebook. Then we became friends on Facebook. And yeah, he's quite a warrior, and he's got a really good story.
Yes. Yes. So he's one of the people I followed. Uh there's another guy. Let me see if I can find who this is. His name is Dennis. I think it's Dennis Stacy, and he's in Canada. Let me see. I think it's Dennis Stacy. Okay, so if you go to YouTube and you look up Dennis Stacy and Dr. Thomas Seyfried, his story is he was on a vacation. You'll relate to this. And he was hiking with his family, and he just kept feeling like he was going to pass out. He was going to pass out, and something was wrong. And finally, the 3rd day into his vacation, he's like, I need to go to the hospital right now. And he had a tumor on his aortic, and they said he was going to live 24 to 48 hours. He's like, and they're like, this is terminal. There's nothing we can do. It's cancer. There's no operation to fix this. Well, he's from Canada. And so basically there was these doctors that wanted to try something. And they're like, it's either we try this or you're going to die in 48 hours, right? And so they're like, we want to take a pig aorta and we want to replace your aorta with this pig aorta. And again, I hope YouTube doesn't shut me down. This is a true story. I'm just repeating what happened in Canada. And they're like, but you have some cancer in other areas. It's metastasized to other areas of the body. But he's like, if we can at least fix this and you live through this, and there's like a 50% chance you're not going to even make it through the surgery, then that's going to prolong your life to about 18 months, you know? And so he went for it.
Wow.
He kissed his wife and kids, and he went for the surgery. They rushed him into immediate pig, like whatever carotid. I think it was aortic. I can't remember. Aortic is down here. Yeah. He got this emergency aortic pig replacement thing, and it saved his life, and it worked. And then he got in touch with Dr. Thomas Seyfried, who I'm pretty sure most of us know who that is at Boston College. And he immediately started the press pulse protocol, started testing his blood, I think maybe with a keto mojo, getting his blood glucose in the 50s, and doing the barometric chamber, or
Hyperbaric oxygen.
Hyperbaric. I always call it barometric, but it's hyperbaric chamber like 3 times a week. And the spots, he's clear. He has reversed his terminal cancer completely with this protocol.
Is he, when you say doing the press pulse, is he getting the glutamine suppressing drug?
Yes, because I don't even know if I can say this. It's DON. I'm just going to spell it.
Oh, I know.
DON.
Oh, yeah, I know what it is.
It's
Right.
not legal in the United States. They're supposed to be working on some alternative therapies
So
that do the
how did he?
same thing. Doctor,
How did he?
He can get it in Canada, or he either got it in Canada or he went to a country that he could get it. But he got it and he took it and it worked. I'm just saying.
Wow.
hope
Wow.
my channel doesn't get banned for saying that. But yes, he did the entire press pulse protocol to a T, what Dr. Seafree said, and the metastasized spot, I can't remember what it was, if it was in the stomach or somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Wow. I think Anthony does hyperbaric oxygen. I've asked the people at my clinic about that, and they don't recommend it. I don't know
Why
why.
not?
I don't know. Oh, you know what I wanted to maybe bring up? One of the biggest frustrations is I do want, I don't have a doctor as my champion or quarterback. I'm quarterbacking this on my own, which is not, it's not a good thing. And I cannot even begin to tell you how difficult it's been to try to find someone that will take insurance. Well, first of all, that will even take me as a patient. Because everything I'm doing right now is cash. And the clinic I'm going to, they don't write medical orders for like a full body MRI, for example. I'm not sure, I don't think I
Or-
want a PET scan because I don't think I really want radioactive sugar running through my body when cancer feeds on sugar. But I was thinking about getting a full body MRI, at least as a test. I have reached out, I'm going to say to close to 10 doctors at this point. They either, a lot of the integrative doctors that treat cancer patients, like there's a system here in North Carolina, hospital system, two of them actually, that have an integrative component to their allopathic practice. And what I've learned about them through contacting multiple doctors is you have to be being treated by them with all their drugs and poisons in order to even work with an integrative doctor. Okay. Then I got my naturopathic physician who also has a specialty in cancer. She does not write medical orders. So she referred me to an oncologist that she really likes. I'm like, well, if the oncologist works with her and she's a naturopath, I'll try her, right? And I called that lady's practice and I explained to their patient coordinator that I've been treated for the past 8 months at a holistic clinic, but I wanted to develop a relationship with an oncologist that could, write medical orders and really guide my journey because I don't have anyone doing that other than this clinical trial. And this is what the patient coordinator said to me on the phone. Oh, I mean, she literally, I'm going to have to get back to you. Called me back an hour later. They won't even take me. They won't take me as a patient. All I've done for the past couple of weeks is research doctors, call doctors' offices, and try to see if there is a doctor that will take insurance and is able to write prescriptions if I need it, order medical tests, and guide me through my journey, and I can't find one.
And you know why? Because you're not going to take their, oh my gosh, here's where I go off. Here's where I go off because the whole system is a game and they're gaming us. And okay, so you're not going to take their expensive drugs and where the bottom line, where the accountants and all of them look at the bottom line as these cancer drugs that kill you as fast as they kill the cancer. Right. And again, not doctor or medical advice. I'm not telling anybody who has cancer to not do standard of care. But it is a well-known fact that while the chemo and the drugs kill the cancer, they also kill you at the same time. So, but these drugs are expensive and the insurance companies pay for them.
Right.
And you also pay for them. There's like a split cost. And so they're making, and if you go in there all guns blazing, yeah, can I just get like, some
An
Advil
MRI.
and an MRI, but I don't want your expensive drugs. They're going to be like,
We can't
no.
waste our time with you.
Am I
Yeah.
missing something here? Is this like what I'm like
That's
putting
no,
two and
that's
two?
yeah, follow the money, and as my dear friend Jolene would say, don't get me wrong, but I understand that the medical community they have their place. I'm not completely dissing the medical community. Okay.
Right,
If I'm in a car crash, God forbid, I don't need a functional medicine doctor. I need someone to fix my body. Right.
right.
And so I understand that and I can appreciate that. But, and again, one of my favorite words that Dr. Berry uses is ignorant, right? They're ignorant. And I don't know if you've seen them, but I just finished up a series of 4 or 5 posts on my Health for Purpose pages talking about the doctors that were humble enough to say, wow, I'm sick. I'm a doctor. I'm taking my own, I'm doing my own protocol. I'm not losing weight. I'm diabetic. I'm whatever. My patients aren't getting better. I just keep writing prescriptions. They were humble enough to step back and look at what other evidence, what other research, and even anecdotal evidence, what else is out there that we should be looking at? And I just thought, give those guys some kudos because it seems like some of the best doctors in the more, let's say functional space or, heal thy body with food, and lifestyle choices, get some sun, get some movement, right? Get some sleep, get your circadian rhythm down. But who's going to fund? I know you triggered me now. I triggered myself.
I triggered myself.
Who's going to fund a study to tell people to do natural things like that where there's no money in it? Nobody.
Well,
And
and
Safe Foods does that all the time.
here's the problem. When you're faced with something like what you're faced with, it's life or death. So when
Right.
a doctor, in some cases, when a doctor tells you, you have to do this or you're going to die,
Yeah.
right?
Who said that? Preach on. I can't read it.
Oh,
Preach
Jerry
on.
says clearly our medical system is broken when it doesn't want to accept a cancer patient under insurance. Things have got to change in our healthcare system for sure,
Yes.
girl.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
mean, like, I can't even say what I would do. Well, actually, I have told my family. I have told my family what I'm going to do. I said my first line of defense is not going to be not going to be chemo and radiation. I'm going to take 3 months and I am going to fast and I'm going to get in a hyperbaric chamber. I said it right. 3 times a week. And I'm going to monitor my glucose so strict. I'm going to keep it in the 50s or 60s. And then I'm going to search out if it's even possible to get some glutamine blocking therapy, right? I don't even know what the options are there. Dr. Nelson, if I don't know if you know who he is, he
I
has
do.
some supplements that do the same thing as drugs. So he listed some, but I've already told my family, I said, don't freak out if something ever happens, because breast cancer breast cancer runs very rampant in my family. My sister's had it. We think my grandma has had it. 2 of my cousins have had it. And so it's all over the place in my family, right? So
Mhm.
it's something that's always on my mind. But I've already thought this through. I'm like, and then if that therapy doesn't help in any way, shape, or form in the first several months, then I will consider
Everything.
standard of care. But again, guys, this is not medical advice. We can't tell you what to do. This is just our own personal stories, right? So that I've already thought about that just because, like you said, the the quality of life with the standard care.
Yeah.
And I hate being nauseous, first of all. I hate being nauseous. I can't deal with it. I'd have to quit my job. There's no way I could work to me going, I don't know. There's just, no.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Back to the glucose thing. Sometimes even when I fast, I can't get my glucose down, regardless of again, the max carbs I ever do is like 10 in a day. Okay. And I've had lots and lots of discussions with Dr. Barry AI. Okay. How frustrated I am. And I think, like, I don't want to pull the victim card here, but what I'm thinking, tell me if you think my theory could be right. I do strength train. I think I'm a victim of gluconeogenesis
you could be, for sure.
because there are days, now could be stress. I mean, I am 95 to maybe 97% of the time, I've been blessed by the Lord to have peace during this process. But there are some days when, the enemy is just really messing with my mind and maybe I won't get as good a night's sleep or whatever. But for the most part, all the lifestyle items are really
Checked.
dialed in, right? And I can't lower the glucose, and sometimes I barely, my ketones are really low. And Dr. Barry AI will say, well, you're burning your ketones because of the strength training that you're doing, and you're 10,000 steps and 5,000 with your weighted vest, and you're holding weights and blah blah blah. But that doesn't help. I'm looking at the numbers. So
I have a thought too. How
Yeah.
hard do you work out?
I wouldn't say I'm not a nut. I'm not a
Okay.
nut.
Because remember, when you work out, sometimes workouts can cause cortisol to spike.
Oh, I learned that the hard way. I mean, I knew that.
So
But I
that could
learned-
prevent your glucose from lowering and I'm not saying stop working out.
No,
I'm
but
just
I know what
saying
you mean.
maybe.
It's a stressor on your body. Yes. I learned about the dangers of stressor stacking. I learned it the hard way. What I did, I think I told you recently, there's some of us from the PhD cohort that have kind of split off and kind of
Yes.
become, weekly buddies. Well, we have this morning workout accountability group.
I need
Okay.
to join that.
Okay. And for many years, I was a night owl. Look up the chronotypes for circadian rhythm. I was a night owl. Okay. Well, it's not really the best thing. Okay. The way that I determined it is I took the test online. I mean, I knew I was staying up late, but when I took the test online where it said you are a wolf chronotype, what really connected for me is like my energy would kick in and my creativity and desire to work and really pour that stuff out at like 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. Then I would like work until like 9:30. I'd be working out at like 10 o'clock. And then I would like take a hot bath and wouldn't get to bed till like 1 and wonder why I wasn't really having, great sleep. And this one night, this was maybe 2 months ago, I had gone to do my infrared sauna. Okay. So it's the infrared light and I do 150 degrees for 40 minutes because my My diagnosis responds well to the heat therapy, not to the cold therapy. Thank God. Because I wouldn't want to have to cold plunge. But I did that around 4, came home and was working. Then I worked out and then I took a bath. By 1 o'clock, so I go to bed at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I am wide awake. I mean, wired. And I knew it was cortisol. But I'm one of those people that I don't want to get up and be productive. I just lay there and suffer or,
Me
doom
too.
scroll or something.
Me
And I
too.
started researching it, and in a positive sense, where we learn through the academy to do positive habit stacking to improve your health. That day, I did everything wrong and I stacked a whole bunch of physical stressors. I didn't even take my glucose. I was afraid to use my keto mojo. I didn't even want to look. But since starting this accountability group for working out, we're on the call at 6:30 every morning, and I was horrified when they gave the time. Okay, I'm like, I don't do 6:30, much less work out at 6:30. But it is forcing me to change my circadian rhythm. And by golly, Monday through Friday, I'm on that phone and I am moving. We're all moving, sometimes a little slower than others. But at 6:30, and it's forcing me to get to bed earlier, which I would encourage everyone.
That's
to really
okay. And
consider.
this group, this is Coach Russ's group, right?
Yes.
Harbaugh?
Yep.
And it's open to anyone?
Open to anyone. Carnivore. Oh my gosh. What's your group called, Russell? Well, this is actually not the thing I'm talking about. Is not Russ's group per se.
Who's? It's a Facebook group, right? You guys have
No,
live
it's not.
Zooms.
It's not. Hold on. Wait. Meatstock USA. Meatstock Confident.
Yes.
That's Russ's group online on Facebook. Meatstock Confident 2027. It's a private group, and it's designed. It's open to anyone. It's designed for. I hope I'm saying this right on your behalf, Mr. Russell. People who are looking forward. Many of them are going to Meatstock. Russ is going to Meatstock. I'm going to Meatstock. Aimed at what are your goals until next May? And Russ does a fabulous job of posting really, motivating, inspiring stuff, and it's very welcoming to new members. And once a month, he hosts a live Zoom. You were on the last one, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a Monday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really want to join the daily workouts, but I'm where you were, where I'm horrified that I have to get up because I work at 8 and I sleep till 7:20 because I work from home. So I get up, shower, and I'm clocked in and working. So this is gonna just change my whole world, right?
But
you said it's helping.
I needed it. I needed it, and it is I don't want to get to 6 hours of sleep. So it is forcing me to shut things down. And as a de-stressor, and I've done this for a long time. Well, one of my therapies is I'm supposed to use frankincense in a diffuser. They have me using frankincense essential oil. And I actually put the frankincense in my hot bath at night. I have a nice, deep tub with the reclining back, and I just find that to be a total de-stressor. I turn the lights. I just have a tiny little subtle light in there. I do the whole, light thing, and put the frankincense oil in there with some castor oil, because you need kind of a mixer. And it's just by the time I'm crawling out of that, I just crawl into bed and I sleep like a log.
Yeah.
I sleep like a
Yeah.
log.
A couple more things and then we'll oh, here's Jolene. She's here. Hi,
Oh, hey,
Jolene.
Jolene.
And Aaron Booby Goats was here. Isabella and Thomas Target Prime Rib. I wanted to say hi to them. Oh, I just lost the comment. It was from John about Dr. Barry. Oh, here he goes. Those of us in the oh wait, here we go. Hold on. This is it. So John says Dr. Barry has answered the question, does glutamine help cancer grow? He has discussed this with Professor Ben Bickman at length. Without glucose, glutamine cannot be used as a secondary fuel source. So, and I believe Dr. Thomas Seyfried has also mentioned that. So yeah, so
But
I
there's
don't know if
also
you
many doctors that will say, although sugar is a primary source for almost all cancers, many will say because cancer cells are tricky little suckers, they can feed on lipids, they can feed on ketones, but it always comes back to glucose is the main thing. And it's just sad that what Seyfried is doing with those glutamine blockers is so inaccessible.
I
And
know.
he's the first one to say, to get back to the cynical conversation that we had, that there's no money. If you're going to cure cancer, where's the money?
Yeah, because he said those like drugs are like $2 a pill or like very cheap.
Yeah.
And they want oh, I'm probably gonna get banned. They want to sell these expensive cancer drugs over something like that. And these drugs were used for years, so they're not dangerous. I mean, they're and
Like
if there's
those
side
drugs we
effects,
were talking about before.
yes. And
Yes.
they're less dangerous than having cancer itself. So, in my opinion, if someone wants to do a therapy, whether it's they say it's used for that treatment or not, they should be able to
Yeah.
do a therapy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, and this is Barb, I think. My ex-husband just died from leukemia. I'm so sorry. On 7/7. He was on Medicare. He tried several different treatments and trials at the University of Washington. In the end, his doctors stopped advocating for him. He still had fight in him, but they kept suggesting hospice. I'm so sorry, Barb. I'm so sorry. That's very sad. You're in our prayers, and they kept sending him home to die.
Well,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so John's posting his channels, Overhauling Health. And if anyone wants to post their channels, they can just type !! Love bacon. I allow everybody to post their channels here. And here we go. PhD Coach Russ says, for me, in Missouri, the workout is 5:30.
yes.
Catherine, here we go. Catherine runs the 6:30 a.m. morning group. Oh my, okay, so here's another problem I have. I hope my husband's downstairs, he's not watching. He just retired. When my alarm goes off early, I have to hide it under the pillow. First of all, I'm deaf, right? That's why I have these, and these are my hearing aids. And so I have to hide it under the pillow because he doesn't have to get up anymore. And so like my pillow's buzzing, and then I snooze it and I don't wake up.
Actually,
So
it
I
would
could
be
just
5:30. It would be 5:30 for you. That's right. Because you're central. Aren't you? Are you central
no,
time?
I'm Eastern.
Oh, you
I'm
are Eastern.
It would be
Okay.
6:30.
Indiana's
Yes, I'm in.
tricky. Isn't Indiana tricky?
Yes, so I'm in Eastern, and one county over is Central.
Okay.
Laporte. I'm
Yeah.
in St. Joseph County, and one county over is Central. So yes.
Yeah.
So I'd be scared to like wake up. But you know what? How long do you guys work out? Is it an hour? Half an hour?
We're on the phone. Russ is usually on the call for max like 30 minutes. Then he's got to cut and he has to go to work. And some of us stay on the phone a little bit longer. And, it's whatever you want to commit to, really. And it's
Right.
it's an accountability thing. It's a movement thing. I don't get my entire workout done in that call because I'm not a morning person, but I am getting something in, right?
Yeah.
Carrying some kettlebells or getting some steps in. I go out on my deck, I get some morning sun, you know, click in that circadian rhythm, son. So
Yeah.
it's productive.
I need to check this out. I think it would be good for me because I'm struggling to get movement in right now just because of time constraints of everything. I'm working like 3 jobs right now. So that would be the time.
Maybe
I'm
you
going to
need
be
to start
working.
unstacking.
I need a staff, but I can't afford them, right? I'm going to be ending this here in just a couple minutes because can you believe we've been on for 2 hours?
Oh,
Can you
wow.
believe that? And you
No.
probably need to go to bed because you got to get up at 6 in the morning for whatever, 6:15. Oh my gosh, Deborah, DJ, you're such a blessing. I'm so
Oh,
glad
you're
you came
sweet.
on here and told
I'm
your
so glad
story
you
because,
invited me.
well, you come back anytime. And I pinned DJ's channel. Tell everybody where they can find you. Tell everybody where you can be found.
Yeah, I'm on everything. I try to post something every day. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
YouTube.
I only post images on X. I don't really do much on X, but I'm like, I'll just throw it on there. But I do try to post every day, and then I have a YouTube channel, and I had some problems with the YouTube channel just saying health for purpose. I think it was taken. I don't remember. So you can find my YouTube channel, but it's got to be at health number 4 purpose, all one word. But otherwise, health for purpose is the name.
I pinned it. So
Thank you.
if you guys please go subscribe to her channel if you haven't done so already. Let's blow her up, right? Let's get her the subs. Find her on Instagram, Facebook. Are you taking clients at this time? Health coaching clients?
There's only, let's just say yes and no. I've been a little preoccupied. Okay.
Understandable.
So the only thing I'm doing at this moment in time is I will do an initial, like, short Zoom discovery call, no charge, to see if it makes sense to work with someone, to see how ready they are, and for me to really get enough information to understand, do I think I can, help them make progress? And then if it does make sense, I'll be very transparent with y'all. What I haven't done yet is I don't have an LLC yet. Because I figured once I start having clients, then I'll just get that. I mean, I'm ready to go with it, but I don't need it because it's also new, and I've just been, as my little tribe knows, totally self-absorbed.
Well, yeah, and that's understandable. I just know that when you're able to do this, you're going to provide so much benefit, especially to people who maybe have a similar situation to you, right?
Yeah,
And maybe they're not as healthy as you were going into this situation. And
yeah,
so, can you imagine all of the people who maybe dealing with a cancer or some sort of health situation, but yet they're not metabolically healthy like you are? And I'm so glad, and I think John said this earlier, that you overcame that feeling of shame and just decided to just come forward because nobody but the man upstairs knows why, when, how these things happen. And we can overthink this until we're
yeah,
whatever, but we're not going to know, right? And sometimes things just happen to people no matter what you've done right. And
right,
so there's no shame in this. There is
yeah,
no shame in this. You didn't do anything wrong, right? And some of this is our environment. Some of this could
Oh,
be in
100%.
plastics that we're exposed to, chemicals that we're exposed to. There could be, wherever you live, there could have been some sort of chemical plant that you didn't know about, a Superfund
Right.
site. We're all exposed to this crap,
Yeah.
and there's not a dang
Yeah.
thing we can do about it, right? So
Yeah.
the fact that you felt, and I get this feeling because like I put on 30 pounds, so this is in no way comparison, but this is just my example. How can I be a health coach when I've gained 30 pounds since I went carnivore, right?
Right. Right. You get it. Yeah.
But that's a smaller scale example. Like how it's
Yeah.
that feeling you get when you're like, well, I can't even troubleshoot my own issue 100%. How can I help someone else? But we know this experience is what's gonna make us a better able to help people. And I'm
Yeah.
sure if you guys reach out to DJ, if you have a question or if you have a similar situation, I'm sure she'll be happy to share with you what her specific protocols are. I don't think we can
Yeah.
really go too into detail on here because of the platform.
Thank you
But
so much for your kind comments. Someone asked, I just saw, I don't think I have the capability to be in the chat, right?
you would have to pull up YouTube on a
Oh,
separate
because I just
screen, I
went to your
think.
link. Um,
Yeah.
so maybe what I'll do is I'll pull up YouTube later, but somebody asked how to find me on YouTube. I literally think you have to put the
I'm
at
gonna
sign
I'm copying and
health for
pasting it again,
purpose.
guys. I'm copying and pasting it again in the chat. It's pinned. It's pinned at the top.
I need to take Amy's tech course, but I haven't even finished Dr. Kils's course yet.
Yeah, do that first. I'm still building the course, so you got time, right? So don't worry about that. The way that I'm building the course is I'm recording a bunch of videos and I'm uploading them to LMS, which is a learning management system. And they're going to be there whether you start this month or next month or the following month. And then twice a month, I'm hosting like Zoom calls only with Google Meet because it's cheaper than Zoom. So that's what I'm doing is that and the questions people ask are driving which video I film next, right? So the
Yeah.
classes are helping me design the platform. So okay, final thoughts, DJ. I want to respect your time and your sleep. Any final thoughts, inspirations?
I'll tell you what, I think I wrote this down. I was listening to a devotional this morning and it said something kind of profound. And I'll just read it, but it isn't original. And it said, a wound that has become part of my testimony, a wound has become part of my testimony, but I won't let it define me. And I really like that. And I think
I
that's
like
also it resonates with me because I don't want it to define me. B, I'm claiming healing, and C, I got people to help and purpose to live. So
Right.
that's about it. That's about it. And if I can help people out, that's really what I want to do.
You're amazing, and I want to keep in touch, and maybe a few months down the road we can do a second one and
Maybe we'll
see
be
how
doing a
you're
celebration
doing.
one. How's that?
Yeah.
And you've kind
Yes,
of,
awesome.
I've seen a couple of people that have talked about fasting, and I'm going to set a goal to do better.
Well,
And I know how
if you
important it is. I really do.
if you need a fasting partner, I had a bad experience with the last 72-hour, but I'd be willing to try it as far as I can go again, right?
Did you just do water
Um,
or water and electrolytes?
I do water, unflavored electrolytes, and I still drink coffee. So
Yeah, black coffee. I do too.
black coffee, but
Yeah.
no food, just
Yeah.
liquids like that, and
I
no
started making
broth
my
or
own
anything.
electrolytes.
I do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I took your recipe. I bought the
Did
bulk.
you?
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
took your recipe. Bought the magnesium, bought the potassium, and then used Redmond salt. Bought the little teeny tiny teaspoons, and making my own. Yeah. Aw.
Yes.
Thanks, Jolene.
Aw, Jolene says we love you, DJ. Yes. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let DJ go to bed because she's got to get up early in the morning. Oh, one thing, I got to get up early tomorrow and go get my mammogram. One last question: how do you feel about mammograms? Some people don't want to get them
Some
because
people recommend thermography instead. Do you do regular checkups of your own?
yes,
I have
but I'm
mixed.
terrified.
I have mixed feelings. They can give you false positives. I do know that. I didn't need a mammogram to tell me I had lumps. I mean, I could frickin' feel them. Okay, and those are the
Right.
only ones they found. So I just have mixed feelings about them.
Yeah. My sister, so how my sisters got caught. She was getting ready to quit her job at her church. She was miserable. And she said, before I lose my insurance, I'm going to go get a colonoscopy and a mammogram because I haven't had one in 10 years. She went to get the mammogram and it caught her stage 0 cancer. It was an aggressive form of cancer. So it was a fluke.
Wow.
And what was funny, this isn't funny, but what was ironic was we both had a mammogram come back bad at the same time within a week. So my
Wow.
mammogram came back bad and hers came back bad. And they're like, we need to do another diagnostic image just to check to rule out what we saw.
Right.
It could just be a bad spot, whatever.
Right.
And
Right.
so I told her, I said, look, 80 to 90% chance you're fine, right? Well, mine came back fine and my sister's came back not fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And you
I
expect it to be an exact science, and it's not.
and so I get mine every year. They want me to go every 6 months because I'm high risk. I never gave birth. The high risk of breast cancer in my family. I did
Mhm.
have the BRCA test done on accident, kind of against my whatever. They took my blood and sent it for a bunch of things, and I'm not positive for the BRCA gene. So I don't, which I asked my doctor, what are you going to do if I test positive for this? He's like, well, you're going to go have a double mastectomy and you're going to, have all of your parts removed. And I'm like, well, first of all, I've already had a partial hysterectomy. But I said, no, I'm not just going to go have a double mastectomy because this test shows up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be more diligent with my diet, right? That's what I'm going to do. But so I had mixed feelings about that, but he had already taken my blood. We had a conversation about it. I said I would consider having it done. So this doctor's fired. I'm not even going to go into that. He's fired
I fired a
because
few.
he's tested every single part of my body $5,000 later. And he's trying to find something wrong with me. And my CAC score was 33 after he made me get that done. And he still wants to put me on a statin. And I'm like, I canceled my appointment. I'm like, no, we're not going. So my husband and I are without a doctor. And I know you said we got to get one, but I've gone through 3 doctors.
I know.
And so I'm like, I may wait 6 or 8 months. I need a break. I need a break from having my full body scanned, right? I'm
Yeah.
tired. I'm tired. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, all right, DJ, I
Well,
am
thanks.
going
I really
to,
appreciate your inviting me and for the very
and
nice comments. I really
yes,
appreciate that.
let's do something in the future, maybe a coach's corner where we talk about a topic
Yeah,
and
that'd be
do
great.
something fun like that. All right, guys,
Good.
I'm going to say
Good night,
goodbye to
everybody.
DJ. Thank you so much. And then, DJ, I'm going to remove you from the screen because I got to play the credits of everybody who participated and play some music. So,
That's fine.
all right, guys,
right.
say goodnight to
Good night.
DJ. Good night. Here we go, guys. Are you ready? Let's do this. Oh, hi, Dan. Say hi to Dan real quick. All right, guys, have a good night. Love you all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. We're gonna keep rolling on. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling on. Rocking till the credits roll.